So I've been coming home for lunch a lot, and I feel very, very privileged and grateful that I am even able to do that. But I realize that since I've been doing it so often, I might as well put it to some good use, because all I usually end up doing is wondering what I should do, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, or watching other people's YouTube videos, and I'm like, why am I not working on something? So okay, I have only about 20 minutes to talk about what I want to talk about. What do I want to talk about? Well, let's fucking see. Let's see. I am so lucky I live so close to my work. We live so close to my work. So I have been taking full advantage of sleeping in to the point where I don't have time to pack my lunch because I didn't do it the night before, knowing that I can come home for lunch anytime I want to. So I have been taking full advantage of that, but not really, because I've been coming home for lunch, but then I don't do anything. I find stuff to do around the house that I'm trying to save myself from doing later when I get home, but then I end up doing it anyway, like washing the dishes and shit. And I'm scrolling through my feeds on lunchtime, scrolling through YouTube, watching YouTube videos. I'm like, why am I not utilizing this time for myself, for my own personal growth, if I keep coming home? So we're gonna do a little bit of a lunch mukbang, mookschlang, schnitzbang, schnitzbang, mooklong, mookschnitz. Should I just rename it to mookschnitz? Schnitzel mook? Mookbang schnitzel? Should do a mookbang with a schnitzel feast one day. Anyways. So I never watch the news. I don't go on news sites anymore. I was actually feeling really grateful the other day that I don't do that, and that I don't pay attention to any of the entertainment tabloids, is that still an appropriate word? Any of the entertainment, gossip, social medias. Don't get me wrong, every once in a while, it'll be somewhat of a guilty pleasure thing to watch the video that pops up in my related feed for 12 times a celebrity freaked out on paparazzi. I've watched that. I love it. But I don't do it all the time because it's stressful. I have my own life to stress about. This is something that really yanks my chains, if you will. So I was at work. We were talking about something that had happened. Now, I don't even remember what it was, but at the time I was really interested about it. So I wanted to go onto the news website and read about it and check it out. After that, I had stumbled upon a few other articles because, that's how they catch you with them headlines, and I wanted to read them. And I saw one about excessive preschooler screen time linked to behavioral problems by age 5. So let's just open that up, shall we? Let me take you guys to this beautiful world that we call news articles. I find it so funny that obvious things, this is such a general statement. I can't generalize this statement, but I'm going to. But I find it funny how such obvious things will be in a news article. It'll be a news article. Come on, this isn't breaking news. This was done in Edmonton, apparently. A new study links excessive screen time among preschoolers to have behavioral problems they experience at age 5. So the research looked at more than 2,400 families and compared children who got at least 2 hours of daily screen time to those who had less than 30 minutes per day. 2 hours of screen time sounds like a lot, but mind you, I don't know. I'm no parent, number one. I'm no parent. I don't babysit. I've never read a parent book. Since the invention of a screen in general, aka the television, I don't know what's been published as far as an appropriate screen time, daily screen time for a toddler or a 2-year-old or a baby. Like, I don't think a baby's gonna be watching much, but you know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, when you can start absorbing the information, that's when it matters most, in my opinion. Allegedly, kids who spent more of their day in front of screens were 5 times more likely to exhibit clinically significant externalizing, quoted, behavioral problems such as inattention. The fuck is inattention? Does that just mean like a lack of like paying attention? Let's look it up right now. Inattention. Inattentive definition. Let's just do that. Not paying attention to something. Literally. The definition of inattentive is just not paying attention to something. Adjective. So, obviously. So they were also 7 times more likely, more than 7 times more likely, to meet the criteria for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, but without aggression. Yeah, I guess it all depends on like where it stems from. So if it stems from literally just sitting and staring at a screen, absorbing a certain information, like you're gonna be thinking about that information all day. Like this is why they say this is why you shouldn't spend so much time on your phone before you go to bed. Because if you're spending endless time, like even if it's 5 minutes of like endless scrolling, 5 minutes is a long time. You can absorb a lot of different information from your phone or tablet or whatever social media site you're on, whatever news site you're on. 5 minutes is long enough to absorb so much that your brain is going to be going into hyperactive mode, trying to work all of it out. And then other things will pop in your mind because whatever you just read or whatever picture you just saw will remind you of other things or other situations. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't stop fucking thinking. And that's why half of the adult population can't fall asleep at night. I'm just kidding. It's not half. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I used to know that stat, but I don't know. Don't quote me. So let's continue. So, apparently current Canadian guidelines should be far less than the suggested 1 hour a day limit for preschoolers and the 2 hours a day limit for 5-year-olds. Okay, so apparently that has been printed and published by the government of Canada, that they say it's a suggested 1 hour a day limit for preschoolers and 2 hours a day limit for 5-year-olds. Yeah, that seems like okay. So to me, the difference between like the way I grew up with 2 hours of screen time and the way kids now are growing up with 2 hours of screen time is so different. I kind of feel like my life has been half and half. Half like I grew up without going on the internet like a ton or at all, and the other half, that was all I did. So the first half, my screen time was only really TV. TV could be TV shows, could be educational TV shows, could have been not educational TV shows like cartoons, whatever. Drama shows, could be movies, it could be music, and the list goes on. Award shows, like anything that is filmed and put on TV, that would have been what I was watching. Not the news, really, unless my parents were watching it. Like, as a leisurely thing, for me to have a screen time, leisure time of up to a maximum of 2 hours, like at 5 years old, I wasn't watching the news. So you understand what I'm saying. Now, that screen time has changed from only TV to TV and any other single app you can download on a device that these parents are providing for their children. Like, these kids didn't just go to the store and buy an iPad tablet themselves. An iPad? Oh my God, I feel so old. But you get what I'm saying. So mom and dad have an iPad and they want to use the TV. So they're going to give their kid the iPad so that mom and dad can watch their show together or their movie together while their kid's preoccupied on their iPad. This is just one situation, like from on the top of my head, that I'm giving as an example. But that kid for 2 hours while you're watching one movie could have scrolled through, I don't know what your 5-year-old would be doing, unless you set them up with an app or you provide, like, you open everything up. Not to say that half the time these 2-year-olds know how to work a freaking iPad and tablet, and they know because it's so easy. You press one button to go back to the home screen, they see a picture that they want to go into, and they click on it, and it's a whole different app. Like, it's so easy for your kid to transfer apps. I don't know if there's like locks or protections against those, but I'm sure not every parent would use them anyway, so kind of is not relevant to my point. My point is that in 2 hours time, that kid can be exposed to anything they want. Like, if they're gonna have to have an amount of screen time a day, I don't think it should be with a phone or a tablet or anything to that effect. Okay, I'm back. Sucks because I want to talk about this so bad, but I feel like this topic can expand not a lot of directions, but it definitely can expand into more of the specifics of like what kids are watching, how it's affecting their mental health or their behavior in general, but it all stems from your mental health, what you're absorbing into your brain and letting weight fall on those certain things. But right now, I'm just gonna like give you my opinion on it, I guess. It's more of like an opinion piece than anything, because I just think that it's so frustrating because I feel like certain things to certain people are so obvious, but then obviously to to other types of people, it's not as obvious. Obviously. But with that being said, I still feel like it's important to speak the word, spread the word. So I guess that the parents reported daily screen time to this study that included DVD, TV, computers, video game consoles, forgot about that one, smartphones, and tablets. On average, 3-year-old children spent 1.5 hours a day in front of a screen, while 5-year-olds spent an average of 1.4 hours a day in front of a screen. So, like, not that much difference. Those kids who had participated in more than 2 hours a week of an organized sport were at decreased risk. Now, keep in mind, sport can be anything. I think they had to probably use that word for the sake of the article because it's concise, but sport could be anything. Martial arts, swimming, like, obviously everyone knows those are sports. Again, this might be an obvious thing to some people, but not so obvious to other people. I would say that not just sport, or like music classes, any type of art, like any extracurricular. Why the fuck didn't they just say extracurricular? Hello, let me write your articles, like, anyway. Or maybe they just focused on sports. I don't know, it doesn't say. I don't have the study in front of me. I only have this article on it. So, interestingly, someone said it wasn't physical activity on its own that was protective. The activity needed to have structure. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is the thing. This is what I'm trying to explain. I think that if you're not focused on only one part of your life, let me rephrase this. I believe, and I feel like I've been experiencing it this past 2 years, and finally I've come to the realization of this, that if you're trying to focus your attention on too many little things and you're feeling overwhelmed, well, that could have stemmed from just simply scrolling on your phone, the news, because it's very overwhelming sometimes. I think that if you're trying to overwhelm your brain with information, forcing yourself when you don't even realize you are to absorb all this information by simply scrolling on an Instagram page, or watching a bunch of YouTube videos, like whatever it may be, if it's different topics that are trying to flow in and out of your brain all the time, that is gonna build up to be very overwhelming. I was having a lot of trouble trying to fall asleep the last few months, but now I definitely feel like it's gotten better because other people and myself have helped me realize that if you focus your attention on one thing in this life, maybe 2, maybe 3, I've heard this being said so many times in my life, in my own 23 years of experience, and it didn't really sink in until you experience it yourself, which is like everything. You choose school, one sport, one extracurricular, or art, or whatever it is, or you want to work in a business at 15 years old, any side thing, you're gonna focus on so much harder if you don't have all these distractions of other people's lives. Social media can be toxic, even if it's not negativity, it's positive posts, people living their best lives. You're so encompassed in what they're doing, like, oh my god, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. Maybe you would be doing those things if you weren't scrolling on Instagram. I feel like people have said that to me so many times, and I'm like, no, it doesn't make a difference. But I get it now. I get it now. I do get it now. Because you know why? I'm sitting here filming this. Wow. Wow. Typically, I would go home on lunch or stay at work on lunch, and I would be just scrolling through my phone. There's not much focus that comes with that. It's just like random ideas and random things from other people's things that they're focusing on. Whereas I'm not really focused on their stuff, but it's just overwhelming my brain with unnecessary information and unnecessary feelings. So, wow, I didn't realize this was gonna like tie in together by the end of this video, but this is why screen time for kids irks me so much, I think. Like, I get it. It's easy. It's easy to pass your electronic device to distract your child so you don't have to give them the attention that they want all the time. It's easy to find anything that can distract your kid for a while. Yeah. Electronics is the easiest thing to distract your kid for a long while. And I think that's why parents are using this as like an easy way out. Again, I'm not a parent. I'm not a parent. I don't know. But this is just my theory and opinion. I don't know. I don't even want to be a parent. Parents who have the privilege of supplying their children with very expensive electronic devices, anything where they have accessibility to touch the screen and do anything they want on that screen. If I'm going to be dramatic and see this as a continuing thing in their whole life, and that's what they're used to, and they become addicted like I was in a way and still kind of am to checking out my Instagram. I've just scrolled past like 7 to 10 that I didn't really care about, and so I'm gonna just close this and go do what I want to do. That's totally stopping you from doing so many things because time passes by when you're on any electronic device. Like, this video has been like half an hour and I'm gonna have to cut it down to 8 minutes.
8 minutes, my ass.
So much time spent, easily spent, when it can be used in another way. And people complain about time going by so fast and all these days and the weeks, and there's not enough days in a year and time in a day, and it's like, there is, but it's up to you to make it. So what are you doing? You have to like break down what it is that you actually do in the day and be honest with yourself. I've been making like daily to-do lists or like schedules for myself for the last 2 years, probably since I moved out, and that really helps me get what I need to do done, especially when I feel overwhelmed, when there's a lot of stuff to do. But I had to really be honest with myself and say, okay, Sabine, there's 6 hours in a night after I get home from work and before I go to bed. 6 hours on average, obviously. I have 6 hours a night from Monday to Friday to do whatever I want / need to do. And then I realized that even though I had time left over after all of those things would have been done, I would have had, like, let's just say I wanted to get the groceries done, dishes done, eat, work out, whatever, have all that done by 9, have about an hour and a half to 2 hours to relax at the end of the night. I was finding that I wouldn't have enough time to get all of those things done, and I was sitting there wondering why. Only until I realized that I would come home, spend almost an hour going through every possible app on my phone, and then doing what I wanted to do, or vice versa, or in between the scheduled items. Like, it takes so much time up if you're not paying attention to it. Unless you're monitoring your kid and monitoring what they're looking at. Of course, screen time, excessive screen time for kids is going to affect their behavior and mental health. Like, of course. I feel like that is a given, and the fact that people are doing a study on it is almost a waste of time to me. Like, it's a waste of time to me because I feel like we're getting to the point where these types of electronics with a touchscreen are so accessible that I almost feel like there needs to be like an age restriction on them. I know it sounds kind of stupid, like that sounds fucking crazy to have a age limit on electronics, but I don't know, mind you, like everyone underage drinks. Not everyone, but not me, mom. Lots of people will do things and rebel against them. I think I lost my train of thought. Anyway, if I had a kid by accident, because I'm definitely not having a kid on purpose, I'm gonna like look at this in 15 years and hoping like, hypothetically, I'm gonna be looking at this in 15 years with a kid beside me and they're gonna be like, Mom, what the fuck? But no. I'm not having a child. But if I did have a child, I feel like personally I would not allow them to have access to anything that they're able to touch on a screen until they're at least 14, 15, 16. Like, I don't know. There's so many little factors that would affect it, but I just, in general, for the protection of your mental health and physical health, then I don't see why 14 to 16 would be an issue to set an age limit on parents being able to buy electronic devices for their kids or like whatever. I don't know how that would be regulated. Definitely wouldn't be able to, so it's never gonna happen, but this is my 2 cents. So that's it I guess. I don't know, that's it. Tell me what your thoughts are. I don't know, do you agree with me? Like, do I sound like a dummy? Like, just tell me, freaking be honest. This is honest Sabine one-on-one time. I don't want to stop this and then like have another thought. Let me just read the last of the article. Oh, one more super important thing. The study did not look at screen content or screen type, such as television, computer, or tablet. So it was just accumulated data, I guess. Yeah, I think the screen type is the most important part, and that to me is anything with a touch screen. Let me know what you think, and I'm gonna go and eat something because I'm hungry as